All right, how's it going, party people? It's Caravan Dan from Gaming Caravan. We're gonna go right into it. These are the 12 most anticipated games in 2025, according to 700 plus people. If you want to be part of our polls, if you want to be part of our surveys, make sure you go to the description of this video and join our mailing list. I do email blasts all the time about polls and upcoming games and all that stuff. If you want your voice to be heard in these forums, we have literally thousands of people a part of this, and a couple hundred people join every single time. So this is based off 700 people's votes, and I only kept the ones with 20 or more votes on it. There were, I think, over 100 games that were being voted on, which is crazy because I only submitted like 20 and the list kept on growing and growing and growing and growing. And almost all of these were not in my initial posting, which is good because there's a lot of user submitted responses that were popular. This is all on Facebook, so let's go ahead and get started. 12 most anticipated board games that came out or are coming out in 2025. This was done back in January, and I'm super behind on. Just a heads up, just a little thing. We have a game called Stockpile coming out May 25th, which is just in a few days from now, and it's going to be live for 10 days. It's a PMP with a physical game option that's going to be created in-house by us. Make sure to support if you want to support what we're doing and you like what we do. Go ahead and If you like what we do, go ahead and go in the description, follow the Kickstarter. We're almost at 200 followers right now, and I really want to hit $1,000 on this just to justify even creating more games for you. So starting off at number 12, we have Unmatched TMNT Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a huge comic book guy. My background is actually like, I grew up a nerd, like fully nerd. Also, do me a favor, go in the comments and let me know what you think about this by the end of the video. This is my new system. I don't like editing too much. This actually cuts down a lot of editing for me. So let me know if you like me doing this. But I'm a huge comic book junkie, so I grew up playing some board games, mostly video games and reading. I read so many books. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a huge one up there. And also in college, I had a friend who was like really into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, we got everything with the IP on it. TMNT Monopoly, TMNT Munchkin, and we played it all, so I actually learned a lot about the IP from him, which was pretty cool to bond over. If you don't know, Unmatched Tales to Amaze, a cooperative version of Unmatched, had Mothman and I think aliens in there, and they had like 4 new exclusive characters to the game, and it was only like 50, 60 bucks, pretty cheap, pretty affordable, and it released really quickly after the Kickstarter. Done my restoration games in the Unmatched universe. And all the characters could be used like a normal competitive deck. You can use them however you want. However, you can also use any character in the cooperative version. You just needed their minions, and you need their characters and cards and all that stuff to fight them. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle edition obviously comes with the 4 Ninja Turtles, and I'm pretty sure comes with Hockey Mask, Jason Mask. I always forget his name. Dang it. I love that guy. It's been too long since I've talked about him. And Splinter. But I know it comes with the 4 TMNT Turtles. And also comes with, the villains are Shredder and Kang. If you don't know, the guy with the face in his belly, that was the villain of TMNT 2, the live action film with Megan Fox for some reason as April, which is such a weird transition, but I'll keep it. Casey Jones, I had to look that up, I'm so ashamed of that, but Casey Jones was such a cool character. So I think he's a character as well, I don't know, but for the record, there was an add-on in the Kickstarter for TMNT to have hero decks or playable character decks for Shredder and King as well, which I was really happy that became a thing because they needed a Shredder deck. If they did not have Shredder as a playable character, it would have been like a waste of a character, to be honest. Anyways, that is some stuff about TMNT Unmatched. Go look into that if you want to know more about that stuff. Unmatched is a really cool 1v1 or 2v2 or free-for-all 4-player game that is pretty competitive if you want it to be, or super casual if you don't care about too much. They have a Marvel IP on there. Now they have TMNT. They have Jurassic Park, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and a few other ones. They have a bunch of like open IP stuff. None of their own unique characters I know of. They also got Witcher in there. So if any of this sounds appealing to you, go ham on that. But that's number 12, and that's one I'm going to speak on probably the most out of all these today, because I know the most. Number 11, we have Sweetland at 22 votes. 22 votes for Sweetland. Now, I did not know too much about Sweetland, and I still don't know too much about Sweetland, but if you look at my top 10 anticipating games, or top 5 anticipated games of 2025, go ahead and check out that video, because some of the people in my community that we're doing videos with, they're also volunteers and colleagues of mine and coworkers and and friends. It took me a while to get to that word. They do videos with me, and they knew about Sweetland a lot more than I do. I don't know too much about Sweetland, but it's good to see that it's number 11, the most anticipated list of all time. It's a candy-themed game, and again, I can't speak too much, so sorry to let you guys down if you're expecting more on Sweetland. Hopefully I have a picture up in this. That was 12, 11, 10. We have Horror on the Orient Express. Now, I don't know, again, I'm so sorry to do this, but I don't know too much about Horror on the Orient Express, but I know it comes from Murder on the Orient Express, which is a mystery game, or mystery book that was written a bit ago by a very popular mystery, Agatha Christie, I believe it was, where, again, I'm not really a fan of the ending of that story particularly. I recently saw the film and I forgot about the book entirely, so it was nice to relive the experience. I don't like the ending. I don't like the reveal, you know what I mean? I don't like who it ended up being. This is a personal take of mine. So this is going to be an interesting look whenever I look it up after this video to go talk about it. This was number 10, so 12, so yeah, we have 12, 11, 10. Now we have number 9, which is Dice Throne XMen. Now this one has 23 votes. I can speak a lot more on it because, again, comic book-based characters. And Dice Throne is a very interesting system that I particularly appreciate. Dice Throne is what they call battle Yahtzee game, in the sense that what you're doing in the game is you're going to roll 6 dice, and then you can re-roll up to 2 times, so it's a total of 3 rolls, and you can keep whatever dice numbers you like, take away whatever ones you don't like, and the whole point of it is you're trying to do damage to other characters. It's done primarily in a 1v1 format. But they do have 2v2s, and they do have free-for-all, 3-player, King of the Hill type modes. Similar to Unmatched, but Unmatched is a card-based game where you take 2 actions on your turn, which is either playing a card or moving, which is part drawing. In this one, there are cards in the game, but it's entirely a dice-based system with some cards. Honestly, in my opinion, you can remove the cards entirely. Some people really think you need the cards. I'm not a fan of the cards in that game, just because I think it's a dice game. I think they should keep the focus on the dice in and of itself. Now, again, it's funny enough because these two, Unmatched and Dice Throne, have some good similarities, which is why I like them so much. And they've recently, Dice Throne has had their own IP. They've had their own characters in the game, and they've reached out and they did stuff with Marvel. So they did Marvel Dice Throne. Now they're doing X-Men Dice Throne. Marvel Dice Throne had Black Panther, what's it called? Miles Morales, Loki, Thor, and a few other characters. And then X-Men had a few more, like I think Rogue, Wolverine. I know they had Deadpool as a big one. Deadpool was actually a solo box option as well, but it was a very important thing to know. They also have a cooperative one called Dice Throne Adventures that came out recently, and they're doing a new one where it's basically like Pogs from the 90s and 2000s, if you remember Pogs, where you're trying to flip over other people's tokens and to try to like collect them, which is pretty cool. It's called like Dice Throne Pogs, or I don't remember what it's called. Anyways, Dice Throne's a cool system. It's a fun time. It's a fun game. If you like battle chuckers, dice chucker type games, this is one for you to check out if you don't know anything about it. So that was, I keep forgetting each number. I should have put numbers on here, but I wasn't sure how important that was going to be. That is a 12, 11, 10, 9. Number 8, we have Knitting Circle. Now, Knitting Circle also has 23 votes, and if there were tie-in votes, for the record, I just went by alphabetical order, which a few of these actually did tie-in votes, even on the higher up ones. And yeah, it's crazy that the top 12, because we had 700 plus votes, and the top 12 only have like a max, it's like 20, 20, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then it jumps up. So, Knitting Circle is a successor, a sequel to Calico, Quilts of Calico, if you know the video game. Now again, it's a board game turned into a video game. It's a very fun game. I've only played the virtual game myself, but I think it was a very fun time. I think it's a very cool experience. And it was a fun pattern recognition type game. Now, I'm speaking a lot about Calico, Quilts of Calico, because I actually don't know Knitting Circle personally. I looked it up, I followed the Kickstarter, but I don't really back games anymore just because I work with so many publishers in a year that I either am too booked for, or they will end up working with me before I even have the chance to buy it. And also with all these games, I don't know when I even have time to play them all. My collection of my own games, I finally touched them like last week for the first time in a long time, just because I was having a bad day. I'm like, let me play some of my board games, and it was a good time. So Knitting Circle was really anticipated for this year at number 8. So 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. We have Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the 7th Era, I believe. Looking that up real quick. Now, I want to know, without having to look at this beforehand, Betrayal of the 2nd Era. I was really close, which makes me really happy. Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the 2nd Era, which we just call Elder Scrolls the board game, has 29 votes, and it was super anticipated, and actually was number 1, I believe, for that video I was talking about earlier, which you can still see in the description of this video, or in the comments, or just on my channel, of my personal top 15 games came out this year. Now, I'm a huge video game IP junkie as well, because again, comic books, video games, I'm a huge thing. Just seeing it in a board game format is really, really cool to see. I love seeing the different kind of takes, interpretations that I can see different kind of formats, like Elder Scrolls, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mega Man as board games is a huge hype for me. And this game, I will say, it was a good game. It was a good experience. I did end up playing it one of the guys in the video, Connor, he did back the game at like almost the full pledge. He just didn't get any of the peripherals really, but we played it. I played it once. We lost in our first playthrough because we had some. I even talked to the manufacturers and publishers at Gamma, and I described what happened in our game, and they said that statistically shouldn't happen because we actually had like one of the hardest quest lines. I think it was for the Assassin's Guild, which was really cool. Then in the Assassin's Guild quest, we went to go rescue the lady. We had to bring her out of the dungeon, and the issue was there's so many high-ranking beasts that we couldn't kill at like the stupid level we're at, which was like the highest we could have possibly been. We had a lot of cards flipped that shouldn't have flipped. That really ruined everything. And there's no way to get out alive because apparently the way the NPCs work is that NPC was trying to fight everything on the way out, and we would have had to kill everything. And the way we laid the tiles, that it was just a lot of random crap that didn't happen right. But it was a fun time. It was a fun experience. It's a cool story game if you like games like that. I want to play a full run through once to say I did. But honestly, it was a little less open world than expected. Now, I know board games cannot be one-to-one scale. I was not a huge fan of Elder Scrolls, but I do like how a lot of things turned out. And I was excited to see how a lot of the Elder Scrolls Skyrim gameplay would turn into this as a board game, where maybe I have like a high level of enough speech, I can avoid a fight and stuff like that. But that's not very common in that world, and especially with the town system, there's not enough town layouts. It's almost, once you go into like a few towns, you kind of seen them all type stuff. Things are, spells are too easy to get, or like levels are too easy to get. You do upgrade your dice, and there's way too many dice in that game, but I understand why they did it. Every single like class and spell type has its own dice set for like enough for all the players, which is important to use. And then you have to, I think the leveling system on the bottom is really, really cool on how like you have to choose, you have eight like classifications with only 4 rows, so depending on how far you max out one row, it limits the other side of the same row. So you really have to be smart with how you level up, what you want to do, what spells you want to utilize, and all that fun stuff. I did think it was a cool game. I do want to play a full setting of it 100%, maybe on a live stream. But that's just number 8, I think it is, on the most anticipated of 2025. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know why I said that. We have 12, 11, 10, 9, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Let's do number 5, I believe. Number 5 is Nemesis Retaliation at 28 votes. Oh, I did that in the wrong order. Oopsie poopsie. So let's change it up a little bit. Nemesis Retaliation got 1 less vote than Elder Scrolls. Nemesis Retaliation, if you don't know, is I think the 3rd game in the series of Nemesis. Nemesis is basically Alien, the board game, where in the first game, you're in space and you're trying to get to Earth, and you're trying to like fix the ship and go back into cryo sleep or fulfill an objective, depending on who you're trying to work for, whether it's going to be the normal people or the bad people. And depending on what quest line you do, you can mess everyone up. It is a semi-co-op through and through. You really have to trust your teammates. There's some backstabbing involved, potentially, in how you play. Some people don't play with any of the backstabbing. That's kind of half the fun of those kind of games, in my opinion, at least. Now, Lockdown was like you land on Earth, and I think you have like your visions, and you're trying to like hallucinating a little bit or something like that. I don't really know. And Retaliation, I think, is you're going out and you're hunting the alien. So it's actually like a trilogy of board games in the Nemesis storyline of aliens themed board games. It was a good time. I had a great time playing just the base Nemesis. I've never played Lockdown. I've never played Retaliation. I don't know too much about it. So make sure to look it up yourself if you want to know more about Nemesis Retaliation. But that's all I can say on this. Nemesis is a great game, and I've heard good things about the other ones. So that's all I have to say about that. Now, this game I have played of. Number 5 is Critter Kitchen. Critter Kitchen is number 5, and Critter Kitchen is a fun game. I'll say this much. It is the best cooking game on the market so far. Now, the one thing that's surprising is almost all the cooking games are the exact same types of games. I've talked about it with some people, but Critter Kitchen does do the best of the recipe fulfillment of a cooking game. You do have to go out, get your objectives, or get your ingredients to fill the same dish the other people are trying to fulfill at the same time. You have like 3 waves to fulfill one day, and then you're doing 3 waves for another phase, and then there's a new recipe that flips every single day, and you could fill as many as you want or fulfill as little as you want. You never really get bad stuff in that kind of game. There's some asymmetry to it depending if you want to use character abilities or not. The Deluxe Edition isn't even too expensive for what it is. Cardboard Alchemy does a great job with their games. I played the Deluxe Edition with 6 players. My first playthrough was a fun time. Did take about like 2.5, 3 hours though. It does take a surprising amount of time, which is one of the main complaints for this game. Which is funny because another game, River Valley Glassworks by Allplay, has the opposite issue, where it's a great game but it takes too little time and people don't want to buy it and they say they spend too much money for it. But this game takes a little bit too long, but it is fun. It's a good time. I would love to cover it pretty soon. I played it relentlessly and I taught it all through Escape WinterCon. If you don't know, that's a convention happening in Florida in February and March, run by Quick Simple Fun, I believe it is. Patrick from Quick Simple Fun, the board game publishing company. And it is, I would say again, the best cooking game on the market. But it's all about just grabbing ingredients and fulfilling them at the end of the game. You have like secret critics that like really alter your scoring, trying to get information about what they might need by the end of the game. But again, I just think that there needs to be more competition. There needs to be a huge shakeup in the cooking board game category for it to really excel. Let's do number 4 now. Number 4, we have Luier. Ooh, Luier. Now, I've lived a million lives, I'll say that much. So when I say like I have all these connections to all these different things, they're all true. I was a homeschooled kid for a couple of years. I was a missionary kid for a lot of my life. My parents like traveled a lot of places to like plant churches, and I've just done a lot of things. It's easy to do that when you have like no friends. So Luier is a game right up my alley. I'm a classically trained violinist, pianist type stuff. The box was utterly beautiful. I remember how it took over the internet for like a whole week, whole month in the board game sections whenever it first dropped, and for good reason too. That is an absolutely gorgeous cover. Dave Beck did a great job over at Paverson Games, same people from Distilled, to create Luier. I haven't played the game yet, but I did see like a quick couple of rounds at Gamma. I would have loved to demo it, but I didn't have enough time at the convention. I was planning on working with a lot of publishers, and I'm hoping to go ahead and work with Dave whenever he gets copies of this after the UK Game Expo. He's launching it, I believe, for the first time at the UK Game Expo happening in like a week or two. I'm pretty sure it's coming up pretty soon, if my memory serves me right, which, you know, we'll see about that. Go ahead and look it up if you think I'm wrong. This one has 40 votes, which is almost 10% of all the votes, which is perfectly fine. I'm not surprised whatsoever. This game is a worker placement, I think, auction type game where you are trying to like build instruments, and there's all like a lot of historically accurate things going on in there. I don't want to speak incorrectly about this game, so I'm only saying things I know there are facts. I was very excited whenever I saw some of the components, whenever I saw the box, whenever I saw... It is a pretty sizable box, but if you know Distilled, then don't be surprised. I'm not sure if it's bigger than Distilled or not, but it's... Last I checked, it's like a similar sized box. It's not like Galactic Cruise or anything, where even the base box is just like huge, but that to each their own. I'm super excited for Luier. I did not get to back it, but again, I'm really hoping to work with Dave and Paverson Games to go ahead and get a copy in our library whenever it does come out. I'll be so hyped for that game. So yeah, go ahead and drop a comment if you are excited about any of these games you've seen so far, by the way, because I would love to hear your feedback and what games you are super excited to come out in 2025. This is number 4. Ooh, correction. Yeah, 3, 2, 1. So now at number 3, we're getting pretty cool. We got Speakeasy. Now, Speakeasy is another game that I've heard. It was in my squad's top 15 of 2025. Speakeasy, I don't remember the name of the guy who makes these kind of games, but it's his newest game. It's a big guy. I'm just going to look it up. Let me some Mountain Dew. So yeah, this is a Vital Lacerda game, which if you know Lacerda, he's known for like his bigger, heavier games. And this one, last I checked, was like kind of a gang themed game. Speakeasy will transport you to the roaring 1920s during the Prohibition era. Manhattan was under the firm control of Lucky Luciano, a prominent mobster. I don't know too much about the mechanics of this game, but I do know that people were very excited whenever they heard about it. It did pretty well. I think it was on Kickstarter or like some kind of crowdfunding campaign, and it did very well. And someone in my community backed it. It was some of the guys in videos, Etskill, and I'm super excited to play this game with him. I play any of the games that we all suggest. We play Thursday nights, and we always try to play like games we're familiar with, but we just keep on getting so many games in the mail that we keep on playing like new games. But I'm not mad about it because it's my full-time job, so I do all these before you buy videos as much as possible. If there's any before you buy video you want us to see me do, by the way, go ahead and drop a comment on what you would like to see me cover. But this is Speakeasy, so that is number 3. Now number 2 is Finsspan. Finsspan was number 2 with 55 votes. Now, I'm not too surprised that Finsspan was in second place. Or correction, I'm not too surprised that Finsspan got 55 votes. I am surprised 55 votes got second place. However, again, the votes were very, very, very spread across a lot of different categories. Again, 700 people voting is quite a lot of people, or quite a lot of votes. But Finnspan being second and second place being 55 votes were two very surprising things for me, but I'm not surprised 55 people voted for Finnspan. Finnspan is the third in a trilogy of games by Stonemaier Games. They did Wingspan, they did Wormspan, they did Finnspan. Wingspan was a bird-based tableau building game. Wormspan is a dragon, more advanced tableau building game with a shared board in the middle for some extra incentives to go around and collect and clan, I believe it is. They were like the clan upgrades, the clan charts, trackers. And Finnspan is a super simple, even more simple than tableau builder than Wingspan. It's more of an entry gateway point for Wingspan. And I believe it's because so many people got Wingspan that aren't even board gamers because of the theme and because of the art, and they realize that's a lot bigger of a jump to go into board gaming. And this one is kind of like a stepping stool to get into Stonemaier Games' trilogy, because honestly, in difficulty, it's Finnspan, Wingspan, Wormspan, but in publication it was Wingspan, Wormspan, Finnspan. So it's technically a step back in difficulty, but they did a good job completely streamlining everything and making it a much more simple system to play if you don't really play board games whatsoever. And that's Finnspan. It came out recently. It was a fun game. Definitely get the deluxe tokens if you want to play this game, because the base components do not look very good. The deluxe components are utterly gorgeous. I'll say that much. It is the little rubber things, the wooden fish. It's not really too expensive to get. You can get it bundled on the Stonemaier Games website, which you can see if you just look it up or go to the comments or description of this video. Hopefully I put it in there, but who knows with me. And that's number 2. And now number 1, if you're probably guessing it, this isn't a shock to anyone, I'll say that much. It is Galactic Cruise, which got 10% of the votes at 71 votes. Technically, we had over 700 votes. This wasn't exactly 10%, but it was about 10% of the votes. Galactic Cruise, who created a first game by TK King, Edward King, and Kingston Games. Super cool people. I've met them a few times. I saw this game being developed for the past few years, and they went everywhere to showcase this game. This was like a Lacerda game, a light Lacerda game. I played it recently. It's nowhere near as difficult or long as a lot of people are saying it is. It did not take us longer than 2.5, 3. Now, there was a long teach. 2.5 hours, that is. It was a long teach. The teacher was basically monologuing for 50 minutes straight. I didn't realize it was 50 minutes long until he stopped. I looked at my clock. I was like, holy crap. He was just streamlining that for 50 minutes. There's just a lot of things to connect this with this, with this, with this. And he does a good job of teaching the whole game up front, going at once, and just giving us all the information needed. And we're going to ask questions anyways. We're going to go in and definitely need to double check on some stuff. But Galactic Cruise is a fun game. I would play it again. There's a lot of variability. There's a lot of replayability. That's without any of the expansions, any of the optional components. Just in the base game, there were plenty of different ways to play it. And honestly, you don't even need to change all the components. You can have the same game by doing the same base setup every single time, just to have a consistent gameplay and knowing where you're going to go, knowing what objectives are next to what. But there are different ways to play, in the sense of there's different ways to set up the game, which gives you a slightly asymmetric experience. But it's fun, it's accessible, and it's an expensive game. I'll say that much. It's like $120 base, $100 base. And the box is absolutely huge, but for the components you get, and for the quality you get, and for the quality of game you get, I would say it's overall worth it. I don't know anything about the expansions, I'll say that much, 100%. Don't even look at me for the expansions, because I'm still wrapping my head around the base game. My score is 71 the base game. Make fun of me in the comments of how bad that score was. Yeah, these are the top 12 games that were most anticipated for 2025. You let me know if I missed anything out. You let me know what's on your list. And let me know what kind of video you want us to see next. If you want to be part of our next votes, go ahead and join our mailing list in the description of this video. But that is everything for today. But that's everything for the video. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff, and make sure to comment. So just to say hi. But that's everything. Peace. Have a great day. God bless. And I hope to see you at the table soon.